Hi everyone, this is Christy Miller, counselor at College View Middle School, and I wanted to talk to you today about how to sign up for the ACT. This video is going to tell you just some things to remember while you're signing up and maybe answer some questions that you might have, especially during our COVID pandemic and how ACT is handling it. One of the very first questions I always get is, am I supposed to take the ACT as a middle school student? Well, here are the answers to that. Some middle school students, they want to take the ACT, or their guardians want them to take the ACT because they just want to see how well they would do without studying for the test, just taking it fresh, just as like a baseline score. Other students will want to take it because they plan to take college classes while they are in high school. Specifically, our 8th graders are interested in taking some of our community campus classes. And I will put a link in the description below giving you some information about our community campus program and how ACT requirements are going to be handled this year. The ACT is the United States' most recognized national college entrance exam. And so if you are looking for colleges now, it might seem early, but the time will get here before you know it. Each college typically has an ACT score that they require in order to be accepted into their school. Other scholarship programs also require a certain score. So if you don't take it now, which is perfectly fine, you probably will take it while you are in high school. So how do you sign up? Signing up for it is completely online, and you can do that at act.org. Every question that you could possibly have is found on act.org. You can call me if you want to, but I will often just find my answers on act.org if I don't know them off the top of my head. There are certain testing dates. They are typically the same Saturdays every year. This past year, we had some COVID cancellations because of our pandemic. ACT had to cancel some of the testing dates, and they added on some other ones. So for the 2021 school year, you will see, maybe you didn't know, but there are some extra test dates that were added. The next test that is coming up right now, if you're watching this video, is February 6th. Now, right here, if we look at the regular sign-up time, the regular deadline is January 8th. However, ACT is going to extend the deadline to sign up for the February 6th test to this coming Friday, January 15th. So if you haven't signed up for it, you can sign up for it by Friday and not pay any late fees. What if you get COVID? What if your testing center has been canceled because of COVID? How are you going to find that out? The fastest way for you to find out, and this is the most timely, up-to-date, is to actually go to ACT's website and click on Frequently Asked Questions and Help. And we scroll on down to where it says COVID-19. How will you communicate the changes to me? Second one right here, I think, is the most useful. I heard that my testing center is closed. I would always check that to make sure. So, test center cancellations, when we click on that, this is going to give whatever test is coming up. The next test for us at the time of this video is February 6, 2021. So here are the testing center cancellations for the February test. And I can narrow that down pretty quickly by just choosing Kentucky. And then even, Owensboro, I don't have to do any more. So Brescia is not giving the ACT at their location, and Davis County High School is not giving the ACT at their location. That does not mean that other testing locations aren't available. It just means that whenever you sign up for it, those sites might not be options for you to choose from, or if you were able to do that and they canceled, you can find that information here. What happens if it does get canceled? That is going to be all down here. Are you required to wear a mask? What if I get sick? How am I going to be screened? All of those questions can be found on the frequently asked questions for ACT. If you are a student who has a 504 or an IEP, you might be eligible for some testing accommodations. If you are not familiar with the term IEP or 504, then you do not have one, more than likely. Whenever you first begin to register for the test, it's going to ask you, do you receive accommodations? And it is very important that you choose yes. And after that, you will receive an ACT email requiring you to submit your IEP or your 504 documents to the testing center staff director. You can send that to me and I can get that to the appropriate person, but it's very important that you choose that. So for example, if you typically get extended time on your tests here, you can, if approved by ACT, get extended time on taking the ACT. The cost of the test is $55, and that is somewhat of a high price, but that is the cost of the test. And for students who are on free and reduced lunch, there are lunch waivers or free waivers for it, but you do have to be a junior or senior in high school. If you sign up for the test after the regular deadline has passed, there is a fee for that. And even if you miss the late deadline, you can sign up for standby testing, and there's an additional fee for that as well. So if you sign up regular time, $55. What do you need in order to get registered? You need about 30 minutes, computer with your internet, your credit card, and a headshot. You are going to register for the ACT without writing. Now, if you are applying for a prestigious program that says specifically take the ACT with writing, that's the only time that you're going to sign up for that. So choose the ACT without writing whenever you sign up. Make sure that you write down your username and password. These will be the username and passwords that you use throughout your time with ACT, all the way up to when you graduate high school if you need to send test scores. So make sure that you make a note of them. Now, when you complete the form online, it's going to ask for some general information like name, address, birthday, etc. It's also going to ask about your high school coursework that you've done. Now, unless you are in Algebra 1, Geometry, or Algebra 2, or if you are in Spanish 1 as an 8th grader, you are probably going to mark for all the other questions there, not taking, but will take. So on that high school course list, it will say English. It'll say freshman English, sophomore English, junior English, senior English. So for most of those, you are going to put have not taken, will take. Have not taken, will take. And this is just for their research purposes. If you don't get it right, that is okay. I don't want you to stress about that, because unless you are in Algebra 1, Geometry, Algebra 2, or Spanish, those will be the answers to those questions. There is also on the ACT an interest inventory. Not only is this the college entrance exam, it's also an interest inventory in choosing some careers that you might pursue because, one, of your interest, and also because of how well you did in certain areas on the ACT. So it has about 60 questions, and it will read things like likes to work outdoors, like, dislike, do not care. It's going to be about 60 questions like that. Again, that's not going to count for you or against you. It's just for their research purposes, and it is to help you find a career that you might be interested in. It may ask for a college code or a high school code. Now, you are a middle schooler taking it. You can put the high school where you plan to attend, if it's Davis County or Owensboro Catholic or Apollo or wherever that happens to be. Your college code, you do not have to put any code there if you don't want to. Know that this test that you are taking will be one of your score reports. However, you do not have to send that score report to any school. I did have a student who took the ACT in 8th grade, and they did use their 8th grade ACT in order to get into the University of Louisville. So you don't have to choose a college right now whenever you're signing up. If you choose to use it later and you haven't signed up for it, you will have to pay about $8. Right now it's $8 to send a score report to each school. Signing up for the ACT, and you've decided you want to take it, it's very important that you contact me in the guidance office, Ms. Miller, or Ms. Ratliff in the counselor's office, because you need to pick up the following. One is the student identification form. And that form looks like this. All right. And because you are a middle school student, you probably do not have a state issued or school issued official identification form. So this paper is what they will use. I will fill out the top part, attach your picture, put a school seal on it, and you will sign it in my presence. I will sign it saying you signed it in my presence. You will take this with you on test date because this is your identification, and they will ask you to sign it in front of them. So they're going to match the picture on here with your face, and they're also going to match your signature that you put here along with the signature that you do in their presence. You cannot take the test without this form. There are other types of identification that they will accept. You can find out the other types of that on ACT.org. Also, we have the study guide, Preparing for the ACT. This booklet is 64 pages. Just know all of that is not tips. The majority of that is a practice test. So on pages 1 through 11, that's going to tell you how to help prepare for it. The rest is a practice test. You can find this online if you want to look at it there, but I have plenty of paper copies. You will be using a paper copy on the day of the test, and so you can take sample tests. That's one of the things I would recommend that you do. So again, this identification form, you must have this. Also, on test date, sorry about that, you also have to have your admission ticket. So once you have signed up for the ACT, you have paid for it, you've chosen your test center, you are going to be able to print a ticket. And you print that ticket off of your registration where your login information is. And it looks similar to this. Okay, I got this off the internet. This is somebody's, I don't know. So the two things that you must take with you on testing day is this ACT admission ticket and the student identification form. The ACT ticket will tell you what time that you need to report to the test, which test you're taking, what building, where to go, what time to be there, on testing date, what to bring, etc. So you have to have this printed off as well. Do not assume that you can print it off once you get to the testing center, and pulling it up on your phone will not work either. So make sure you print it. Again, all answers that you might have can be found on ACT.org. If you have any questions, then you can email me. There is my email, or you can call College View at that number, and I will be happy to answer any questions that you have. So signing up, it's pretty straightforward. Make sure that you have, you pick up the study guide here. I can put it up front if you need to come pick it up if you are currently in Virtual Academy, or if you are at home right now, I can put it up front with your name on it along with what you need. But you have to have that identification form. I cannot stress that enough. Unfortunately, we've had students who've shown up in the past who didn't have it, and they were turned away from the test. So anything else, just check it out on ACT.org, or you can email me. Okay, thanks. Check out the other video if you want to know how to study, prepare for the test.